their way of getting things going.
Yeah, so the mics are live, so careful.
Mics are
we're
live,
live.
yo. Yeah.
Where's your merkin bean? Have you seen his merkin, Larry?
I almost hit him with my Yeti as he came in dressed as Merkin somebody, and it's hilarious. One night we'll have to have the...
I didn't know what that was until you told me.
I can't find this thing though, man.
It's not on
Yeah,
yet.
no, we're a little
Oh,
bit
okay.
delayed on the
Gotcha,
catch
gotcha.
on
Yeah,
the
if you watch the
rebound.
phone thing, like it doesn't even close to match up. It's like so far behind. You're like, wait, hold on, what? Like,
Wait, huh? Who, huh?
yeah.
Put your 70s with
Yeah, I don't think I really want to like field comments. I mean, if y'all reel them out or whatever,
I
then,
usually,
you know,
I usually
I'm
don't even
with
read
it.
the comments when I'm doing the show because I don't like, because I know there's all kinds of comments and like I honestly, my wife reads comments like back on my feeds because like I don't negative comments like I was asking you like how this list.
All right, we're
made up, and
live.
people
We're live
didn't
on the
like this
Facebook. You
ad
can
stuff.
share it out.
Like I made people mad. I was like, dude, I didn't mean to. I was just asking how the list. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought I offended somebody. I was like, dude. Like, I wasn't trying to offend anybody. I was just asking them like. I
Oh.
think people thought I was being snobby or something. I guess I don't know. Like,
I mean, you know how it is. It's like anything else. You know, people gonna feel how they feel, and it's gonna be what it is. You know.
I was just like,
Well, we've got a special green beans here tonight, which it's actually the first of a new season, a new millennial. I don't know. I guess we didn't switch that.
I'm not a millennial.
A new year, a 2021 first green beans with
Ugh.
special guest Chili
Or
Mack,
Gen X.
which we're grateful to have him in here. And if you watch the previous broadcast, there's probably a little bit left unsaid that we're gonna.
yeah, there was a high demand on the other broadcast for Chili because they were interested in, as am I, to hear. Well, we've been talking a little bit, but which it gives me
You
a
got
good
to talk
perspective.
into the microphone, buddy. There
Oh
you
yeah,
go.
that's right. I
There
do
you
have
go.
it. It gives,
Yeah, your mouth like
yeah,
that.
I know, huh? It gives me a good perspective on a different perspective because you know people are probably going to have the notion on, oh, let's hear. You know, I'm not saying all people. I know for a fact there are some people that are probably going to be on there going, oh God, let me guess. He's going to put, and it's quite actually very enlightening. Some of the
This
things
is we talked about it. It's
Yeah.
twofold.
It's
twofold. There's,
right.
there's two
the way
things that
you
we wanna
explained it
talk
was
about.
very enlightening. So
right, as you said it, right? You need to check, not check him like, ooh, check baby, but just let them know that this isn't appropriate, this
Right.
isn't right. And then the people that are spreading it around, instigating it, that's not right either. It's twofold.
Yeah, I mean, it's a few ways to look at that, right? We can look at it, you know, from a perspective of people are circulating it around to instigate it, right?
Right.
But nothing that really came towards me came in like instigating type of a manner. It was more in a I can't believe this shit
I know,
just
but
happened.
don't you
Have
think, Chili,
seen
that
this?
if they see it and they think it's like that, why are they sending it to you? Why don't they use their voice?
Well, so I had that conversation with
Okay.
the first few people. I got I counted, I got 10 messages about this. And the first few people, you know, and me and Larry talked about this, you know, in our conversation, but it was just that, you know, like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, you know, okay, I that's fucked up, you know what I mean? But as it continued to happen, it was people who were not of color. It was people who have children that are biracial, and the dynamic of it and the diversity of it started to change. And once that started to change, I understood why they reached out to me, and some of them articulated why they reached out to me. When it comes to our industry, and this was a person within the industry that services the industry, when it comes to our industry, there are a few people of us, meaning people of color, in the industry, but there aren't very many of us that are on that upper level, the upper echelon, elite, whatever it is that you want to call it. I just look at myself and what we do as what we do, and we just stay focused on what that is. But other people see that differently, so they look to me and Eric and other people for, you know, that motivation, that I don't know what you want to call it, but
But
I
to
wonder
them,
I wonder what Jerry Flowers would think about it.
to
From
them,
UWD.
they're looking up to us to continue to set these examples as minorities in this industry.
Right, but as people that aren't of color, they
Mm-hmm.
should be wanting to do something as well. I mean, they're turning to you to do it, and then like Bean was saying, people, oh, here comes another guy talking about blah 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 blah.
Right.
When they should say maybe we should do it together. Then we should get on there and tell. I mean, to me, if you've known about it for several months,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't say anything about it, and you just wait for the right time, well, then what's the
So
point?
I looked at that like this, and I'm a realist, right? So
For
I'm
sure.
a look at it from every possible angle that I can to get an overstanding. I don't want to understand shit, because if I understand, I'm cool enough to get by with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I overstand, I'm like, oh no, this is some real fuckery, and it's really just a thing of, are we mad that it came out? Are we mad that it came out late? The whole point is it was done. So regardless of how it came out, who
Right.
it came out,
Right.
why it came out, it was still done. You know what I mean? And so when I listened to, the statement, I did not hear any type of honest I'm sorry. It was, I'm sorry it came out.
Right.
I'm sorry that a private conversation leaked. You're sorry that it got out, but there wasn't a I'm sorry to the people who you may have offended.
Kind of like you're not sorry, you're just sorry you got caught.
Right. And it's like, I listened to the interview 6 times, 5 or 6 times. She said, I knew it was inappropriate. So if you knew something was inappropriate and you still made a conscious effort to send that to people and then
It was a bad
ask the
judgment
question,
call. Yeah, it was bad.
is
judgment
this
on her part.
racist?
Yeah, for sure.
If you have to ask, is something racist, that's a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take the full timeout, not a 30-second, and we're gonna evaluate what we're saying, because even though it's a private conversation, it's being put out there.
Right.
Now, we talking about, the news. Okay, she said it was originally on a Spider-Man. So if her husband made this and he was hanging on the Spider-Man, okay, cool. I have no beef with that. I have no beef with the child putting the monkey on what he considered a leash. I have no beef with that either. But when she
Because
said
of what
she
puts out
saw
there
it,
and asks.
I saw it and I knew it was inappropriate. So So if you know better, you should do better. And if you choose to not do better, you have to have these hard conversations. You have to feel whatever repercussions come from that. I could care less about who said it or why it came out. It was done.
Right. Right.
I'm wondering like
I care about that too. That it did came out, but
Mm-hmm.
I do care too because the people that did say it and that did instigate it, then they need to come out. They
like
need to.
yeah,
say
I'm trying to
something.
figure out, did it offend them when it was first done? Like, who did it
Well,
offend
well,
at the very beginning?
Well, I mean,
because obviously it
I
didn't
know that
offend
Nicole
anybody
knew
of
about
color
it
at the
for several
beginning.
months, even though she says she didn't, and she sent it to several people trying to instigate it. Why didn't she come out and say something in the beginning? I mean, I'm just saying.
Well,
I
and
know
I'm-
that
I-
JK,
I wanna know if
he knew about it for several months.
And
He didn't say anything about it. And as a matter of fact, he called you a racist at one time, but he wouldn't call you out. Why is he calling a woman out? I'm just saying, these people all need to be just put in check. If you guys are so concerned about it, then do something about it. There's people that talk about it and people that be about it. You don't like it, I'm not going to go to you. I don't like something somebody says, I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. I'm not going to depend on you to do it for
And
me.
here's the sad thing, I think.
If you really don't want to be a racist, then don't be one.
I think
but
this-
don't go to you to instigate it
I think the sad thing is that
or to have to defend them.
And
You
maybe
know what I mean?
maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly, I think, and this isn't any, but I think the only people that were actually honestly offended are like people right now, because 3 months ago I don't think it offended not one single person. That's the sad thing about it, because if
Well,
it did,
3
then
months
it would've
ago,
been,
it was an internal conversation
But it
with
still-
a,
but it
with
still
a
should have been-
boss
but it still
and
should have been.
employees.
But
Right, but
if it was
employees-
offensive,
She
then
could've
it's,
went-
if it's offensive now, it should have been offensive then.
Right,
It don't
and
matter
she
if you're
could- she
offensive.
could've went to the
offensive.
EEOC.
So
She
this
had
is
options.
this is where the screenshots or the images that did make it out
Mm-hmm.
didn't do this justice. And Gwen Brackett spoke on it very
Why
eloquently.
didn't Gwen Brackett go to the EEOC? Why didn't she go to somebody?
I can't. I'm not. I can't speak for nobody.
I'm just getting passionate right now
I'm not.
because
I'm not
it pisses
here
me off when
to
people
to
try
do that.
No, I understand.
You know.
But she had options. She could have got unemployment. There's choices. Don't tell me, well, I had, bullshit. If you want,
Look,
if you believe in something strong enough,
that's
why you gotta
like,
wait to out somebody?
That just sounds to me like an opportunity to make it okay. You know, so what you're saying to me comes across that, well, if it was such an issue, why didn't these other people say, do whatever, right? Okay, I get that part.
No, it's not okay. But that's what I'm pissed about, because it's not okay.
But
and they didn't say anything about it.
I'm saying is, I was made aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
I contacted Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Larry had a conversation. Larry said he would get back to me. Larry got back to me. We have further dialogue, and then this happens here. But the real reason that I'm actually here is actually because of you, Hooligan. It was
What'd
you.
do
So
now?
after John and DC did their videos, you did your video, right?
Oh, I didn't even know they did. I knew John did.
Yeah, but it was the things that you said and how you said them. It almost came off, and excuse the term, but this is the closest thing that I can relate to it. It almost came off like a Nazi sympathizer, right? Because you were like, oh, well, I may be ignorant to this. And you said that a couple times. And I'm feeling over here like, if it's a racial situation or a situation that has racial undertones to it, if you can say that you may be ignorant to it, you probably not the person that needs to be that voice to talk about that, right? And so
Just because I don't. Here's the thing. Here's my deal. I'm ignorant to it because things like that, like, I don't let it get to me because it's ignorant. Here's the thing. I've never looked at a monkey and ever pictured a black person. That's fucking stupid to me. That's the dumbest shit I've ever
Where I
fucking.
come from, monkeys are
Of course I
Filipinos.
know what it is, but I'm ignorant to it because I don't believe in it. So when I say either I'm ignorant to it or whatnot, that's because it doesn't lie in my consciousness. For anybody to even, that's like me going, every time I look at a burrito, I think of Mexicans. Oh,
Why
fuck,
do
a
you look at me when
Mexican.
you say that?
Or rice, that's fucking ignorant to me. That's so stupid.
Okay.
So maybe I might be ignorant to why someone would call a monkey, because it never has been, A, and B, if people want to get really, really justified, I could get even more crazy about it and be like, I wouldn't see that anyway. I would see white people more looking like a monkey than black people because they have thin baloney lips. They actually have fur. Black people have actual hair. That's a scientific fact. People don't know this, but that's a scientific fact. So I could go down that route, but I didn't. So when I say that meaning and like I said on my thing, I've said so many fucking things that people could say, oh, that's so racist. But I do it because I think that if people hear how ignorant it really sounds, maybe you'll stop it. Because if you want to sound that way and you want to sound like literally stupid, oh, I wouldn't do this because they're this color, dude, that like sounds so like, I love movies like that because they portray them just right. Completely ignorant and ill-informed people. And so, like, I feel that I'm one of the best people to do it because I don't give a shit about racism, because the only race is human race to me. I don't look at
human
black,
race.
brown,
Right.
anything like that.
Right.
But someone can talk to me and I will be ignorant to the fact that if you're going to come and try to tell me that something symbolizes something when that's some bullshit, because a symbol is a symbol for a reason. It has to be a symbol because it's been a symbol for thousands of years. Nazi symbol, not a fucking Nazi symbol. It's not even a symbol of hate. It's the Eastern Star. It's in a religion. But since some white man wanted to go and start throwing Jews in doing all the stuff that he did, now it's all of a sudden that's all it's used for. But if we were in India, we could use that star. There'd be nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But that's how ignorant human beings are. So I find it really funny that people use symbols that were once a great symbol, had nothing to do with anything, and use that, and now we've got to go and lie and have discussions like this, and we can't actually have, I don't know, intelligent discussions about what symbols really mean and what things really mean, instead of a fucking animal representing a human being.
All right,
Which an animal is a species.
let's
It's
talk
not,
about that. Let's
that's
talk about that,
ridiculous to
right?
me.
When to actually understand, you have to know history of self. So when you know history of self, nobody can tell you anything about you. Nobody can tell you what, their thought means. That's your thought, right? But when we look at the history of apes or monkeys or whatever they call black people in that particular time, and we're talking about the late 1400s and the early 1500s. Julius Caesar was supposed to be the perfect man, right? And any person of color was related to an ape or a monkey. So this is something that goes way, 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 way back before even the origin of slavery in America. So when we are told or portrayed like ape-like people, this is not something that was ignorant. This was something that was purposeful. This was something that allowed them to consider black people 3/5 of a human being. I got the same damn number of fingers that most white people have. I have the same number of toes, same number of eyes, same 2 ears,
human
same
being
everything.
is
The only difference is I
one-
have more melanin in my skin than that white person
That's
does.
what I'm saying.
Right?
It's over
okay,
melatonin.
but because of how we were classified as ape people, monkey people, and portrayed in film and in books and all of these other things, that allowed them to then stigmatize us as less than human. So when we fast forward and we look at the history of lynching, fuck that. Let's get past Jim Crow. Let's go past civil rights movement. Let's go all the way to Barack Obama. They were hanging monkeys on the White House lawn, bro, from a noose. So for people to say that doesn't symbolize this, you not talking to a black person. Because when we see a monkey on a noose, that's a threat. That's a direct threat. That's you telling me that you will fucking kill me. That's what that means.
But that's what I'm saying. Those are ignorant people, though.
Regardless,
People that put monkeys
listen.
Here's the thing.
Regardless
Here's
if
the
they're
thing.
ignorant people or not, right? It doesn't matter if they're ignorant people or not. These are things that are done, and people allow the past to happen.
Oh.
They don't say this is inappropriate. They don't say, hey, you can't do this. And then if they do, and you're in a red state like we are here, then what are you? A nigger lover. We talking about Oklahoma, the separate at birth state. We talking about Oklahoma, the Tulsa Race Massacre state. We talking about Oklahoma,
what I'm saying.
the
If
state
you
with
don't
the
hear those
third
things, then
highest
it doesn't mean
police
anything to
killings
you, though.
for African Americans in the country.
That's true. That's true.
We talking about 8% African Americans in our state, but are 23% in city jails and 25% in prisons. Threefold, right?
Yeah.
We talking about the state of sundown towns. Marlow, Oklahoma just took their sign down about 8 years ago that said, Negro, don't let the sun set on you here. So we're not in a place that is foreign to racism. We are not in a place that doesn't know what this is. Now, if we want to be, if we
No,
want to
I'm
be
not saying we
purposefully,
don't know.
if we want to be purposefully ignorant, then that's something completely different. But when a
Trying to
person
blend
says that they saw something and they knew it was inappropriate, at that exact moment, when they chose to send that out to anybody, mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, and ask that with those words, is this racist? You should have probably thought about that before you sent that.
Same with the
So
people
let's
that
not
saw
be mad that it got out.
Same with the people that saw the message.
Let's
too. They
but
should
but
probably
what
be thinking the
I'm
same
saying
thing.
No,
but what
I'm
I'm
not
saying
mad that it
is
got
let's
out.
not be
I'm not-
mad
I'm
that
not mad
people
that it
didn't
got out.
speak about it 3
Right,
months
no,
ago.
no.
That's not.
That's
no.
that point is
I'm not mad
that's
that
a
it
that's a
didn't get-
mute
I'm not mad that it
point.
got out.
It's
I'm
really
mad that
not
it
a
got
mute
out
point
late.
because if they saw it and they cared about racism,
Yeah, I'm
they
mad that it
would've
got out
said
late.
something then.
I wish it
Why
would've got
not
out
say
sooner.
anything then?
I
Why
wish it would've
wait
got out
I
2
sooner.
months?
I
Why
can't
wait for the right
speak
opportunity?
for those
I know.
individuals.
So it's yeah.
But
I'm
what
just saying.
I'm here to educate people on the history of the
Absolutely.
noose and the history of African American people being called and portrayed as monkeys and how those two things together
But
is a
that's the thing.
direct threat
People
and it is
know that
insensitive.
history. People know that history, but it's ignorant to give some. If she was racist, that's ignorant to give her a platform to even care. Like, why even
But it
give that a
happened.
time of day?
But it happened.
But it happened 3 months ago and nobody gave it a time of day. And now all of a sudden people want to
Right.
give it a time of
Right.
day. That's
And
not
the- and
to me.
these
That's
same
wrong.
people
That's
that have
timing
called
is
her
wrong.
out
That's
had her
timing
at-
is wrong.
Yeah, these same
The
people. I'm
timing
not
is wrong,
defending
bro.
her, but
If it
is
happened
wrong.
3 months ago, why? That's like me raping a girl, and then all of a sudden I go, "Oh, sorry, yeah." 3 minutes later, it's out. That's ridiculous. It was wrong then. It's wrong now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't judge.
And
so
that's
it
what I'm
sounds like
that's
you're
Have it at
exactly
your
it
house
what
sounds
I'm
like you're
that's
jumping on the
exactly
opportunity.
what I'm saying.
It
But
sounds
you
like you're
see-
jumping
and
on an
you see that,
opportunity.
and you knew
What
about
opportunity?
it, and you had them
An
at your
opportunity
house.
to justify whatever these other people are justifying because they didn't think it was racist then. saying?
An opportunity to protect my blackness.
No.
An opportunity
It's
to
an opportunity
speak up.
for them to use you.
This is
because
an opportunity
You're the only
to
person
speak
justified
up
to speak up on this. Do you see
for
what I'm saying?
the community of people
Yes.
who are
Well, then let him
directly
speak. Let him
affected.
speak, Hooligan.
This is what this is.
Yeah, but you-
it came to me, and I reached out.
Why didn't they come?
I'm
to you 3 months
using
ago?
my voice. I don't know. I don't that part.
Why would
I'm
they
not,
have
I'm
them
not
at
even,
their house for parties
I'm not
if they
even.
had a
I'm not
problem with
even.
it?
I'm
I'm
not
just
even
saying.
concerned with that part.
But I
For the
am
simple
because- I am
fact that
because it
when it
causes
came to me, I addressed it. Right. I didn't hold on to it like someone
And
made.
that
So
bothers me. I
shame
feel like-
on those individuals.
I feel like they're
okay?
using you to do that. That's what I feel like because they could have came to you.
We can call
sooner.
it using, we can call it whatever we want to, but the reality is,
The bottom line.
it
I know the bottom
happened.
line. I know.
No,
You see what I'm
that's the bottom
saying?
I'm
line.
not justifying
That's the
it.
bottom line.
I'm not justifying
That's the
that.
bottom line.
So
That's why I said
regardless,
it's
we can
twofold.
try and crucify the people who held it for however long that they held it for. Okay, we can do that.
They're both
we can
wrong.
try and
How
crucify.
about that?
wrong,
They're
though.
both
They're
wrong.
both wrong.
They're
Okay,
both wrong.
if we want to say that, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm
That's
not.
all
I'm
I'm
not.
saying.
I'm not.
I'm not-
I'm not
I'm not
saying.
s-
But what I'm saying is, I'm not here to address them. I'm here to address the situation. I'm here to address that we are. I mean, are we really? What we're talking about is
just don't
someone who works in the cannabis industry. Okay, the cannabis industry, where there was an entire war on drugs against people of color. So she is profiting from a system that was used to hold us completely down and then put us into this criminal,
Well, so is all the
judicial
other-
system, right?
so is
okay,
all the
but,
other
but,
wa-
but
I mean-
so let me finish. When you choose to send that type of message to your industry, you're not just offending the people that it was sent to. You're not just
It didn't
offending
offend them,
the.
though.
It must have, because they reached out to me.
They reach out to everybody.
They reached out to everybody.
lots of people. I've heard
Okay,
from
so
many different
if-
people.
But if it offended them, they should have said something the first
But
time.
hooligan,
They didn't say anything the first time, so it did not offend me.
You can't say what offends me, and I can't say what offends you.
If
Right, but
something offends
actions
me, I
speak
say
for-
something.
That's
I
you
say
though.
something.
But that's you, right?
Then that's a weak person. If you don't stand
And
up
there-
for yourself,
and there-
if you
and
don't
there
stand
are
up for
a
yourself,
lot of-
if
there
you
are
don't
a
stand
lot
up
of-
for yourself,
How
then
is
you're
it ever
weak.
going to stop if they don't stand
Yeah,
up and
if
say
they don't stand
something?
up, then
They're
who's
counting
going
on
to?
you to say something. They need to stand up and say something. Otherwise,
I'm just hearing sympathy.
no.
that's-
This
that's-
ain't
No,
but-
you're not. You're
but-
not hearing
but-
sympathy.
but that's
I'm
what I'm
agreeing with you.
hearing.
No,
but
but no,
you're hearing wrong because you're hearing completely wrong because I agree with you. But
Y'all are
no.
attacking the messenger
No, I'm
instead
not.
of
No, I'm
addressing
not.
the
No,
message.
No, I'm not.
We
Because
we haven't
they're
even
both
addressed the
wrong.
message though.
Right, but they're both wrong.
So
They're
how are
both
we
wrong.
attacking the messenger?
We didn't address the message 3 months ago either. It should have been addressed.
They're both
We're
wrong.
addressing it now.
Why now though?
She did that.
She
in
was
court
just
case.
here today, right?
She was here 3 months ago too.
Was she just here today?
But she was here 3 months.
Was she
ago.
just here
I
today?
didn't know about it until
Was she just
when?
here today defending the fact that her husband made a noose that was on a Spider-Man that somehow her son put on a monkey that she felt was inappropriate,
And
but
she
still
felt bad that
sent
it
that
got
text
out.
out.
Like-
So she felt bad that it got out. So she felt bad she got caught.
Because she knew it was wrong. She's like, that was wrong. I was fucked. That was fucked up. I had a bad
So-
judgment. I apologize to the industry for that getting out in the industry. That's what. Cause
So
remember
you
said had to-
apologize
No,
for that
you
getting
had-
out in the industry, but you didn't apologize that
She-
for being insensitive.
She
You
did.
didn't
She
apologize.
did.
This.
Yes, she
Have
did.
you ever-
I listened to it.
But
I
you
heard
just
her.
said
I
you
heard
were
her several
listening to-
times.
Okay, so did you hear?
So
Honestly,
if she
all
said that in the
honesty,
hallway, that's something different. What she said on air was what went to the people. She came here to defend what she did. That's what she did. That's exactly what she
yeah,
did.
Yeah, that's true.
And when Carrie read Gwen's message, there was the rut row moment.
the what?
The rut row moment. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Right? But again, I'm not even here to really address her. I'm here to address the situation in whole.
So the
That
situation is a
that
whole. That if you hear
racism
about it,
racism in the cannabis industry is nothing new, right?
racism in
Well,
Oklahoma
yeah.
is nothing
That's
new.
Okay,
yeah.
so now that we know
Yeah, I
all
know
of these,
that.
so now that we know all of these things, how can we willfully, and this is the thing, willfully make a conscious effort to then try and mitigate what happened because of the way that it happened? or the way that it came out.
Well, there's-
who gives a fuck if it was somebody that was a disgruntled
you're right,
employee?
you're right. There's
Who
nothing we
gives a
can do
fuck
about-
that people
there's
waited
nothing we
3
can do
months?
about what
Shit
happened.
just coming out right
But
now.
we can do stop stuff now.
Bill
from happening.
Cosby is in prison right now because people waited years before they said anything. So while you were talking about if you did something to someone,
that was
right?
opportunists.
Oh, opportunists. If you get date raped, how the fuck is that an opportunist?
I'm not talking about the women that were date raped. I'm talking about the ones that like after like the woman that obviously already had a fucking case against Bill Cosby. I'm talking about the women like come on after, like some of those things, like some
They
of those
come on
times
20 years
those
later,
women
it's
knew
like,
what they were
seriously?
going to. Some of those women were women that, and come on now, we know they go to these parties, they don't know, they know what the fuck they're going there for, and they know what happens. Some of those women, not all. That's what's sad, because some women that are actually victims get put in that same situation.
Let me time. Did you read or watch that case?
Yes.
So then you heard him say that he gave them drugs in their drinks to relax them and so on. Okay, so
let me ask you this.
If we're sitting here,
you're telling me that the women didn't know that that happens at those kind of parties, at a Hollywood party, at a superstar's. Come on, Chili.
Bro.
Oh, come on, hooligan.
Bro.
Be for real. No woman goes to the party going,
No,
I'm going to get roofied and raped.
I'm not saying that.
Right, like,
hey, I showed up at your party. Let's get roofied and raped.
You're getting it mixed up. What I'm trying to say is there are women that use.
There are.
That's
but if there's one,
if
there's one, then it's worth it. If there's one, it doesn't matter if there was 101.
No, I'm talking about.
And 100 were lying. I hate those two. But if there's one, and so what we're talking about here is exactly like we talked about last night with the no country for old men.
Yeah.
It's not about
how the quarter got here.
It's the quarters here.
Yeah.
The quarters
and
here.
And that's what we dealing with.
And that's what we're talking about.
That's what we dealing with. Like
and that,
all games aside. Like we can sugarcoat it.
I understand that.
We can spin it. We can make it something completely different. But at the end of the day, when you have to ask, is something racist? It's probably racist. Period. Done.
That's true.
There is no more dialogue past that point.
I'm not disputing that part.
But when we deflect from that and go to, but why did these people wait? At that moment that we deflected and shift gears and pointed towards the people that waited, we're mitigating that for her. We're allowing her to use her spin to say, oh, well, why didn't these people say this then, or blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. It's being said now.
But it does matter, because
how many times does she say spin? How many times does she say people can spin it?
No, I know.
I encourage you to go back and listen to it.
That's not my point. My point is,
I missed my whole dad.
No, my point is like, I agree with you. Like I don't like racism. I think it's fucking ignorant.
Right.
But I also think that I want, like, it happened, yes, but how can we get it to stop and not happen? One way is to, if you hear something racist, I don't give a fuck if you are working there or not. Have some integrity. Don't work there. I don't care what it says in the Bible. If you sit there and the horns blow and man's blood spills, it's on you too. It might as well just be on you too. Is that right?
That sound
Okay.
all
Is that
fine
scripture?
and dandy.
Is that hooligan quoting scripture over there?
That sound all fine and
dandy.
dandy, but at the end of the day, people have families, people have children,
Right.
people know jobs are far and few in between
Well, I guess
right
I'm
now.
different than everybody else.
Like,
'Cause
come on,
I've sacrificed, 'cause
we
I've had
went
people
from
tell me,
a
"Don't do that."
3% unemployment rate to 11% unemployment. Like, let's just be real about shit.
That's
when you
cool.
have to take care of your family, when you have to take care of your kids, some of those morals you throw the fuck out the window.
Not me.
Well, then
You gotta have
praise
faith.
to you.
I
then.
don't
You know what I'm
have
saying?
a lot of morals anyway.
Because
Nor
at
does
the
he
end
have
of the
any
day,
windows.
people gonna do what they
No,
need
I
to
get what
do
you're saying.
to take
No,
care
I
to
get
take
what
care
you're
of their
saying. I
household,
understand that.
and they may turn that blind eye.
But this is one of those things that, like,
you know
it's
what I'm
one
saying?
of those things that it's like a touchy situation because it's fucked up. Like racism is not cool at all, and so it's one of those ones where that's one of those morals where I don't care how I'd be in the doghouse or not, I would not go and be a part of any type of racial, knowingly going and go, I'm going to go and lynch a black, or go and, use racial words to bigotry someone down because, and now I know people are like, well, you said some, I do that because I think it's ignorant, and I consider myself comedian, and we get shit like that all the time. That's just what we do. I got bashed for a whole straight year for the hashtag Me Too group. I meant no offense against it, but I was simply referring to, I know how they feel now because that's how I feel this bill is doing to us right now. If everybody remembers that. For a year, I got from the director of that place horrible freaking emails. I'm like, dude, I'm not using you as a victim. I saw what I did wrong, that's fine. But I think that we need to attack it more like, you bring up a good point in the industry. I don't think a lot of people realize that at the very beginning of this thing, we had 2 African Americans killed that were catty cornered from each other. Elijah and then the owner from UWD as well.
Fred.
Let's forget about their fucking past. I don't give a shit about that. What the fuck has been done?
Hold on.
What the fuck has been done to solve those cases?
But what about Elijah's past? Elijah was a pillar of the black community.
No, I'm not talking about.
You know what I mean?
I'm not talking about Elijah. You didn't let me finish though,
Okay.
because there are people out there. Before you jump on that, because I've already heard it. Because when I bring it up, because I want to know why the fuck nothing's been done about it. There's no been. I don't hear nothing been done about it, and you'll have people. Well, rumor is that the owner from UWD had problems with. I don't give a fuck what. I don't care about their past. That's why I was saying that, because you do have people out there because they take just what the news says. Like, well, that's beside the point. What are they doing to solve it? What the fuck are they doing to solve what happened? Because as far as I know, and that's where I 100% agree with you. I see where you're coming from this, because nothing's been done about it. So we know it exists in the industry. We know 100% it does.
The industry was built on this, though.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
like
saying.
an entire industry, an economic structure was built on the war on drugs and the legalization of marijuana, and people of color were still blackballed all the way up until 2018, basically, from being able to participate in some of these programs that are now legal and people are making millions and millions of dollars on because they sold something or because they had a small amount of something that gave them a criminal conviction. But now people are being expunged, but we're at a point to where we don't have a social equity program here, right?
Do you think those are going to be good, like, is it Detroit, I think, or Michigan? I think they were one of the first ones to have it, I believe.
What, social equity program?
For African Americans.
Oakland, California.
Okay.
I was going to say California has it, yeah.
And I know that there was one, they were doing a thing, an interview, and there was a couple of guys, African Americans, that opened up, and it was great at the beginning for them, but then it turned out where it was.
So
you know,
it's a predatory structure. So this is how it plays out. The social equity programs are written extremely loosely. It's not even truly defined in certain places what social equity means and then who qualifies for it. So in Philadelphia, Donald Trump could qualify for a social equity grant or a social equity license. Just so think about that.
See, that
when these programs
like they're making
are
that
supposed to
racial
be designed to help the people who were in these disenfranchised communities, who were over policed, who were targeted because of this war on drugs and so on and so forth, right?
Correct.
So what they're doing is they're allocating X number of licenses in different cities, and each individual state or each individual city will have their own program, right? But this is where it's fucked up. So the social equity program will grant you, it will basically guarantee you a license,
but it won't.
But you still have to, get your funding up and get your place up to par. And then what ends up happening is these larger MSOs or multi-state operators will come in and they'll partner with these social equity brands. And what they're doing is they're writing operating agreements.
So they're using their program to get for them to use it.
So they're loaning them money with a predatory loan to get the facilities and all of that stuff up and going. They'll partner with them and have an operating agreement that says you'll keep 15%, we'll take 85%. We're this large MSO, so don't worry, you'll be fine. And 2 years in, you're not able to start paying that loan back.
Exactly.
And then they just buy your equity out for a low dollar amount, and that's their easy barrier to entry into the program without actually having to do traditional licensing. So in states where there are caps or they go through a lottery system, that's what people are doing. They are targeting people with social equity licenses.
That's where I think and this to me is more tackling racism than. And I know it was racist. Don't get me wrong. The whole monkey thing, and I'm not. When I say that, I'm not truly ignorant to it. I mean, I'm ignorant because I don't let those types of thoughts penetrate my mind. But this, to me, is more doing something for the race issues. Talking about like then over a stuff because we know that happened. But moving on towards that, those are the things that African Americans are facing in the industry today. Like, as we speak, let's forget about that it's now entered and, yeah, it's reared its face in people's rearview mirror here in Oklahoma. But for people that are truly, really ignorant and don't think that it does exist here, these are the things that people need to hear because they might think, oh, well, it's so what a racial thing happened, for instance. How is that affecting him? Well, did you realize that it's this hard to, and like you just said, the equity, you know what I'm saying? People, those things, like, I don't think a lot of people even have close to, you know.
It affected my son 2 weeks before the election when he texts me and tells me that he was crossing the street and two guys in a pickup truck called him a monkey and said this is Trump land and sped off, right? That affects me because I have to have hard conversations with my son about why that's not okay, but it isn't anything new. So you'll have to learn to toughen up your skin. Why should we have to keep having those type of conversations?
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have
to. Right. So it requires our allies to stand with us. So that's why I think a lot of people reached out to me because I can articulate what I'm feeling. I can articulate what I'm thinking, and I can articulate the historical, you know, timeline of this, in that it's something that has always been here. We, a people of color, have just had to you know, turn that blind eye.
So what do we do? So do we ostracize her and blackmail her, or not blackmail her, blackmail her, or do we teach her?
So I mean,
hopefully
I'm not a fan of blackballing anybody, right? I believe every moment is a teachable moment.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
So, but the thing is that the student has to be receptive. So just like any classroom with a teacher, if you ain't willing to learn, you're not going to learn, right? And then the teacher is going to focus that time on those students that are willing to learn, that need the help, but are willing to try.
Have you got
so
a chance to talk to her?
So do you think she's willing to learn?
No, I haven't spoken to her directly.
I haven't. I think she's willing to learn.
I wanted to. That was the whole thing. I wanted to have a dialogue where we could sit across from each other or next to each other and talk about what that meant to her.
I think you guys should do that in private.
What that meant to me. But the thing is, we can't do that in private now because it is so public. We can't do that in private now because she's made her statement and made her stance. Like, she took a stance. That was a hard stance. Yeah. And so, like, earlier when we were talking about this, it's like we get told, and when I say we, people of color, any color, we get told how we should feel, how we should protest, what's important to us. But people who are the majority can do whatever the fuck they want to do, say whatever the fuck they want to say, and then have platforms to be able to spin it. That shit has to stop.
So you think this was her platform to spin it?
That was exactly what it was. Did you listen to her?
A little bit.
It was spin. And again, I'm not here to attack her. I'm here to attack the issue at hand, that it can't continue to happen. Like, at a certain point, we as the industry, we as the patient base, we as the community have to say, look, this isn't what we stand for.
Right, so we have to say we don't stand for it, so how do we help her to be a better person? How do we help other people like her to be a better person?
It's going to require people who look like her to get through to her. I can't get through to her. I can express to her my pain point. No. Simply because of the dialogue of that communication. The fact that someone said, if this gets out, there could be major blowback. Right. And the response is, no, the community will rally behind me and laughing about it. Like, I can't get through to that person. So it takes me to have a conversation with the ally that looks like her, and I can articulate to them why this was inappropriate, and then they can convey that message to her, and hopefully she'll receive it.
That look like her, did they relay it back to her and say?
I don't have no answers to that one.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
I don't have no answers to that. I know that I received about 10 messages. They were all extremely concerning. They were, again, people who were white, people who were white and had, you know, children of color, people who were of color, and the consensus was the same. Like, this was totally inappropriate. It was callous. Why is this allowed to happen in our industry? And the answer is
That's in
it's
Oklahoma
allowed
in
to
general.
happen because our allies, or those that say they are allies, aren't addressing that directly with them. Now, if and people really have to understand this, man. Like, at the end of the day, we're only 65 years away or 63 years away from the civil rights movement. That's one lifetime. That's one lifetime. So we're expecting, or people are expecting, one group to adapt at this extremely fast pace with all of these barriers that have been put in place, right? I don't believe in those barriers, but just because I don't believe in it don't mean they don't exist. So I'm an example of someone that can work beyond those barriers. My favorite quote is, play your game within the game. The game got rules. Every game got rules. How you win is completely up to you as long as you follow the fucking rules, right? So I'm going to win at all costs. And I'm not going to let what this person say or what this person do hold me down, but there are people who look like me that look up to me. There are people who look like me that I motivate them. And then there are people who don't look like me that I motivate them as well. So if I have the opportunity to use my voice, to use my audience or platform or whatever it is that people want to call it, to give them that motivation to be an ally and have that conversation, my job is done. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to allow it to be spun when I know that there was more dialogue that was put out there, and then what I heard was an actual spin.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like
Right.
at a certain point, when we talk about integrity, when we talk about, people, having,
But
you know,
did
what
any of these people reach out to her and say, "Hey, this is wrong"?
I'm sure they did, because that was a part of the dialogue.
Did you reach out to her and say,
No,
"This
I
is
did
wrong"?
not.
No.
I know I did not. And
I'm not trying to attack you or
well,
anything here. I'm
well,
just trying
this
to
is
ask. I'm just trying
well,
to get the
this
facts.
was the thing, right? Me approaching her after it gets out to the public, that can be taken as I'm attacking her.
No, see, I was expecting you to actually be the first one, because I'm like, I'm sure Chili would have saw that and said something, because
That's
I know how
bait.
you feel.
That's bait.
I mean,
I
that's,
look
you know-
at that. I look at that as bait. I'm not going
I
to
figured
set
it didn't
myself
offend
up.
you.
I'm
And
not
I
going to
honestly,
set
I didn't
myself
think
up
that it
for
offended
failure.
you, because I didn't
I'm not
see
going to be
anything.
Do you
this.
think it would have
this
been a failed attempt if you would have reached out to her?
maybe so. I don't know.
See, I thought you weren't
yes,
offended. Honestly, I don't
based off
think...
of what I heard today, yes,
But-
it
but-
would have
but
been
prior
it
to
would have been a
today?
prior to today. I wouldn't have done it, because it's like me approaching her is bullying. That's how people look at that shit. Like, we got to be realistic.
You don't
I
think the
can't-
industry is bullying her right now?
But does she deserve it?
Oh, so now people deserve to be bullied.
No. Every action gets a reaction, regardless if we accept it, want it, need it. If she put some fucked up shit out there, she should expect to
ever had
hear
any private
some fucked up
conversations
shit.
with your friends
Plenty
that
of
you
them.
could
That's
trust?
why I'm cautious about what I put in a text. I'm cautious about what I say on a phone. I'm cautious about what I say on the air. I'm very cautious about what I say on my lives, because I know that there is somebody, or can be somebody, that will try and spin some shit. So if I put it in layman's terms where everybody can understand what I'm saying, and you choose, that's a choice that you made.